Hello, everybody. Rick back again with Jason Sniegowski for a second time. He's actually driving home right now from the Atlantic City Open. Um,
Yes,
so,
I am.
yeah, man, why don't you tell us about that? It looks like you came in 27th, according to what I see on Best Coast pairings right now, but I know that they're still doing the round of 8, right?
Yep, a couple buddies of mine are still in it. In fact, I know all four of the guys that are still in it. Uh, but yeah, it was a pretty good event. Under 300 people, 6 rounds, and the top 8 made it today.
That's yeah,
So
man. I'm so stoked. You and um, Mr. Um, ooh, Harpster. I keep wanting to say Harper, but it's Jack Harpster is at it looks like 11th place right now, also playing Deathwatch. So some naysayers might think a little differently now with some high finishers like that in a 300 person tournament. That maybe we are pretty good, huh?
yeah, believe it or not, the overall once the FAQ hits for Dark Eldar, it's no longer a really tough fight for Deathwatch. I think that they can actually handle them. Without the FAQ, obviously it was really harsh. I did beat one, but I lost to another. So, got to take what you can get.
So as of right now, which again they're still playing the round of 8, so this could change. But in the top 10 right now, it looks like one, two, three, four, 5 of them are Drakari still. We've actually got Richard Siegler holding it down with Tau on 3rd place, which is pretty cool. I think that's also a faction that everybody said is complete garbage, but here he is holding the 3rd place, so that's solid.
Well, Ziegler designed a towel list that was meant 100% to beat Dark Eldar, and then he ran into 4 Dark Eldar in the first 6 games and 2 Dark Eldar so far in the finals. So,
Well, I mean, that's that's the way the game is played, right? Like that's legit. He went
yeah,
hard. He went hard on an anti-meta list, and that's fantastic.
yeah, props to him for what he developed. I'm not saying it's a bad list. Uh, I played a very similar list. Round 5, no, round 6. Played a very similar list round 6. It's not hard to beat from the Marine standpoint, but it is very hard to beat for the Dark Eldar.
Gotcha. Yeah, I assume it's a whole lot of like raider popping action and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
So,
it was.
oh,
It, it's got a big star. Basically, if you hit the star right, he has nothing left.
star. That's not a term I'm familiar with as a newer player. Tell me about what that means.
A Death Star.
Oh, Death Star. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were coined in, I believe, 7th edition, where you had like the Thunderwolf Star, the Gravesend Star,
Yeah.
the Seeker or Steen was it? I don't remember each one,
So,
but yeah,
for newer players, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, but it's effectively where you have a lot of overlapping buffs that hit multiple units, and you keep those units together with that buff. So you may have a couple flanking units, but for the most part, your army, the vast majority of it, is sticking together in one murder ball.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You're using all of your resources to either protect or hide one very devastating weapon or focal firing point. Yes.
gotcha. All right. Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the Atlantic City Open. So, I follow Frontline Gaming on Facebook, and they were doing some photos here and there, but for the most part, like other than the Twitch streams, there wasn't really a whole lot. How was it? It looked nice? Looked like it was huge.
It was a pretty big venue hall. We were spaced out really well. They could have easily gotten to probably in the vicinity of 500 or 600 people if they would have squished the tables together a little bit more. Terrain was a big issue.
Oh, okay.
There were about 50 or 60 tables that were nice. Well, let's say 40 or 50 tables that were nice. About 20 tables that were overloaded. In my opinion, they had too much terrain, and about 50 or 60 tables that were pretty much like playing on Planet Bowling Ball.
Oh wow, so almost no terrain at all. Woo.
But it was very garbage terrain, like nowhere to hide anything. No ruins, no line of sight blocking.
Wow.
I played my first game against Death Guard on that, actually.
So let's so before we get into the matchups, let's talk about the list itself, huh? Okay, so
It'll be fine.
yeah. So before we get into your matchups, let's talk about how you modified your list a little bit. So I've got it up on screen again. So for those of you who are just joining us now, Jason and I went into depth into the basis of this list in our previous interview, which I'll throw up in the description below. But it looks like, if I remember right, you got rid of the Indomitor kill team. You put the Eradicators into their own squad of 3. You then...
4.
Oh, 4. Okay. You changed your relics around a little bit. You got rid of the Spear of the First Vigil on the Watchmaster and replaced it with the Vorken Pater Auspicitor, which, how'd that do?
That was your fault.
Thank you. I saw that Jack Harpster was also running it. How'd that go? I mean, I bet against Raiders it was incredible. The +1 to hit is nuts.
Yeah, it was. It was very helpful in most of my matches.
That's amazing. See, I always thought that was like a silent pick that nobody was really thinking about. But the +1 to hit against flyers, there's so many good flyers out there right now. Like, isn't Morty a flyer too? I mean, it's just like, if you have the fly keyword, you can get shot to hell with this thing, including Vanguard vets and the whole 9 yards. Now you're back. I lost you for probably a minute and a half there. So, let me know about that Auspicitor.
So what happened was when we talked last time, I was up in the air about the spear. I didn't like it, but I wasn't sure what to do with it. And we were talking about the other relics, and when you brought that up, and then Dark Eldar really started hitting hard in our local scene, so I tried it at a couple small events, and it worked. It worked really well. So I kept it.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that worked out. Like, I've been thinking about running it in my own list as well. The other thing I see is you went for the Teeth of Terra on your captain, which I don't think you had before either. I see that you also went with the Teeth of Terra on your captain, which I don't think you had before. I think you were running, was it Tome Spectaclades before?
Oh, I was running the shield.
Oh, right, the Dominus Aegis, of course.
Yes. I found that my captain wasn't doing a lot with the Thunderhammer. I was kind of unhappy with it. So I wanted something that I could use to get in the back lines and kind of mess up, deep strike in with the Eradicators and just kind of mess things up. So I wanted something with a lot of attacks. I went back and forth on whether to do a Xenoblade captain or the Teeth of Terra. And with the ability to just choose Assault Doctrine, the Teeth of Terra is just way more scary. So I went that route with it because I wasn't going to charge him into things with an invul.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, is it 3 extra attacks plus the one from being a chainsword in the first place is just absurd. You're at 9 or 10 on the charge. I think it's nuts. A lot of
It's
attacks.
three extra plus one for charging, plus one for Imperium Sword.
Oh right, that's right. That's the warlord trait that you picked. Pretty
Yep,
pretty good. So he sliced some stuff up then.
yep. Minus
Nice.
three.
Yeah, and yeah. So -4 in assault. Whew, that's
Minus three in assault. It's
oh, okay.
minus two normally.
Gotcha. That's really good. Nice. Your librarian looks the same. Actually, did you have jump librarian before and you dropped the jump pack, or is the librarian this exactly the
Nope,
same?
still just a firstborn walking on foot librarian.
Nice. Cool. You still have Ultramarines add up to their codex on the Watchmaster to get back CP because I saw that you're actually starting with 8 now, not 7. So congratulations. um, and then you went with 2
Yeah,
Incursor
still
squads.
running.
Oh, sorry.
Still running the three Proteus kill teams. Pretty much identical except for the one, and then I have the two Incursor squads, which
Yeah.
took place.
So I love Incursors. Like for 1 point more. Oh, you got to play before the Guerrilla Tactics fac, right? So you could actually pull them out and then bring them back down the same turn still.
I didn't catch you on that one.
Oh, so Guerrilla Tactics was fact in the same fact that hit Dark Eldar, Drukari, so that you couldn't put them down on the same turn that they went back in to Deep Strike. But
Yeah.
did you use that?
No, I didn't. Mostly what I used them for was I used them for a speed bump or forward deploying objective grab.
Gotcha. And did the Haywire mines come in handy? Because they look like they're a lot of fun to play with.
I would recommend them to every person that ever plays Incursors.
Fantastic. I thought
I get I, I got charged by a squad of Incubi. They lost three guys to the Haywire mine, and then my squad was still there.
yep, that's worth the 10 points right there. Fantastic. Um, so jumping into your Proteus kill teams, then, like you said, you're still running 3. You're still running, so that's 3 squads of 5 Vanguard vets that are, because of Deathwatch, they are objective secured. And then the only change, like you mentioned, is your third one here went from bolt gun power sword to stalker bolt guns. And I assume
Yep.
that's because it's 2 damage, which can still use all of our special issue ammunition, so you could just dunk on Marines.
Yeah, it was a change after Motor City. I had some struggles versus Sisters, and I ran into two Marine lists also at Motor City. So I wanted some long distance dedications. There are 38
We're losing you again.
inch gun normally. In Devastator Doctrine, they're -3. Use the minus range gun that's -4 with 2 damage.
Yeah. So, just to you broke up there slightly, but so 36-inch range, special issue ammo for 6-inch more range and -1 AP. Yeah, 2 damage, and Devastator that brings it to -3, like you said, right?
-4.
Oh, that's right, because it's -2 and then -3 from the special issue, and then -4 for Devastator. So yeah, you're putting the hurt on a lot of things with -4 AP. So that's a cool
Yeah,
change.
yeah, it was really helpful.
And then if they get close, you can always, like for Death Guard Marines, you can always switch up to the +1 damage special issue ammo, and they're still strength 4 though, right? They're not strength 5 guns.
They are strength 4, but you could always go with the +1 to wound ammo, and they're still -2 and 2 damage.
Right. All right. Well, cool. Let me see. So then you decided to put in another dreadnought as well, and you put in a redemptor this time.
Yeah, I put in a Redemptor Dread specifically because in a practice game I played a guy who was running about 90 orc boys. Um, I just did not have enough firepower.
Yep, that's a lot of ablative wounds for the rest of the army, effectively.
Yeah. So he was able to swarm the board, and I just needed more stuff. You know, that dread was added just so I had a little bit of additional firepower.
Fantastic. Yeah, you like the Gatling for horde clearing over the plasma just because of the swinginess of the shots.
Yeah, the plasma being a D6 is it's not beneficial. I would rather always have 20 shots instead of randomly maybe getting six.
Yeah. I mean, the blast would be huge against mobs of 20 to 30 orc boys, but I can understand how you're already CP hungry and you don't want to be burning CP to go from 1 to 2 shots.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I think the onslaught Gatling gun looks cooler on the model too, but it's hard to argue with that blast from the plasma. But so, how do you feel? Like losing the Dominus Aegis. Do you feel like that really hindered you at all? Because you don't have a lot of invols in this list except for your HQs and the storm shields on the Vanguard vets.
Um, Honestly, I didn't miss it.
Hmm.
The Eradicators became more of like a surgical strike unit where they went in, they shot whatever they were supposed to, and then died.
Gotcha.
I also used them as a distraction to like pull people into corners because I would drop down in a area where we weren't really fighting, pick off some important pieces on his flank, and then he would have to move out away from everybody else to take care of the Eradicators, or they would just keep walking in and destroying his army.
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely a threat that have to be dealt with now. So
Yeah.
very
So
cool.
having the extra invulns, because normally the captain dropped down with the Eradicators and the heavy intercessors, it just didn't really change how the army played. So I just took it out, and I really didn't even notice it.
Nice. I see you don't have the extra. Oh no, you do. You have sanction of the Black Vault, but you only used one. Would do you think you have place in this list for like Tome of Ectoclades or any other of our crazy good relics?
I went back and forth on that. The tome is a good call, but I wanted the CP more than I wanted the tome.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I find the tomes pretty clutch for me, but I'm also not a very good player. So
Well, I started every game with 7 because I deep strike the Eradicators.
right, yeah,
So
and then
starting
you'd be
with
down to
6
six.
hurt.
Yeah, I feel you there. Okay, well, let's jump into your matchups then, because we went over the differences in your list. So let's just go round one through the end. So round one you said was Death Guard. How'd that go?
Yeah, Death Guard. I played him on basically Planet Bowling Ball, which was bad. It was a hard fought game. We went back and forth the entire game. He had multiple Plague Burst crawlers, the big Terminator unit. Um, he was able to put down a lot of the stuff that I was pushing forward with, and it became a really rough fight. And I was watching it all through the game, trying to track the score, and I got tabled on the bottom of 5.
Woo.
So yeah, so I was not happy, and we scored it out, and 72-71, I lost the game,
1 point.
and as I'm getting to that point,
Ah.
that's the best part of the story. So as we're picking up, he comes over to pick up some of his models, and he sees that I have a marker on the last objective that he didn't claim. And he's like, dude, you got 1 point for banners that you forgot.
Ha! So there you go. You tied it up. Man, I've never
Yep.
had a game tie up. Like I've won or lost by 2-3 points. I've never had a game tie up before.
Yeah. And I was talking to him, and he was like, yeah, you forgot to score your banners for the end of the game. You got one left. And I'm like, man, that game was the tightest game ever. And it was, because it was super clutch. He was on his stuff. He didn't goof up anything. No major mistakes on either side. It was just a really tight game. It was really harsh.
Well, okay, so that was Death Guard, and that was like you said, Planet Bowling Ball, not enough terrain, so no ruins to hide behind or anything. That's pretty rough.
Very little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
what about round 2? What was that against? Was it Dark Eldar? Drukari?
It was my first Drukari match. I went first, and I opened up with the Dreadnoughts. Had a good deployment, decent terrain. There was actually stuff to hide behind. It wasn't heavy terrain, but it wasn't light terrain, so I guess medium-ish. However, my opponent had the absolute worst luck. When I blew up the first raider, 10 guys inside, he lost 5.
Whew.
I blew up the second raider, 10 guys inside, he lost 5.
Woo.
Blew up the third raider, 10 guys inside, he lost 4.
Man.
And then turn 2, I blew up the next 3 raiders, and he lost another 11 guys from those 3 blowing up. And the dude looked at me and said, "This is not my game." I'm like, "I'm sorry, man." And he goes, "Dude, there ain't even any reason to play this out. I can't get across the board to you when I lost half my model."
Yeah. How's that work in a tournament setting? You just talk out what you think the score would be, and then you both submit that score.
Yeah, at that point, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to take these objectives, so my primary will be this, this, and this, because it's a concession, so basically the game is over.
Right.
I'm going to be able to do this with my movement, so I'm going to score this, this, and this. And so you score out your secondaries just like as if he was tabled, and you score out your primary as if he was tabled.
Oh, okay. I see. That's interesting. Okay. And then you just submit that, and you shake hands and grab a beer later and call it good.
That's exactly what we did, actually.
Fantastic. I love it. The whole social aspect of this game, like, I'm so excited. Like, as an outgoing guy, I just like that is probably why I would go to tournaments, is to talk to people.
Oh, definitely. I had 5 great games. One it was a rough game. It was rough. Personality clashes.
Oh no.
It was a rough game. We made it through. Loss was my fault, but it was a rough game. That's round 4. We're not there yet.
Okay. I can't wait to talk to you about round 3, because I play Deathwatch and Grey Knights, and your round 3 was against Grey Knights, which I think there were only like 2 Grey Knights players in the whole tournament, and you landed up fighting against one. Looks like he brought a pretty non-standard list. Vendread with missile launcher and las. Cannon was pretty good in 8th, but the Melta, I think, is better in 9th. He brought a bunch of conscripts in a patrol, and then 2 assassins and a commissar. Like, and then a Grandmaster, Dreadnought, Drago, Tech Marines, some Strike Marines, and some Paladins and some Purifiers. But like,
believe it or not, this was an amazing list.
Oh, it was. Okay. Tell me why. I don't feel that looking at it, but again, I'm not a great player, so let's Talk
So
us
he,
through.
he needed he needed to bring stuff to sit on the table so he could deep strike about 50% of his army.
Ah, yeah, that's true. Almost everything in Grey Knights can deep strike for free. So not
Yeah.
not the
So he put the
purifiers.
conscripts. Right. Yeah, he gated the purifiers, so
Yeah.
they basically deep strike too.
Yep. I love Gate. Um,
Um,
so the conscripts were wow. They're 22 groups of 25 of them. Woo, 50 conscripts.
yeah, that was actually kind of hard to chew through. But no, I mean the list was actually really good. The Astral Aim, he cast that on the Dreadnought pretty much every turn, so that las cannon was
Yeah,
devastating.
really.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah,
for when I've tried that, they're so swingy, so swingy. But I saw he also brought two Razorbacks with twin Lazes as well. So he had some. He had three twin Laz cannons in the list, which is a decent amount of anti-tank.
yeah. I was dealing with that, and I pushed out, tried to
Nope.
block him out in time to one of stats in to actually score some line breaker points. The reason why he lost, honestly, the reason why he lost was his secondaries. He picked two bad secondaries, one being line breaker. Um, Against me, it was a bad choice because I was able to block him out almost entirely.
Yeah.
And once he did drop down with the two units that could get back there, I just picked them up. And he also took Psychic Ritual, so anything that got near my board edge, I immediately killed.
Yeah. Psychic Ritual is. I think it'll be better after the fact. Oh, were you guys actually using? I don't think you were. You weren't using the new 2021
But
GT pack,
Rick,
right? What's up?
yeah, 2021. Rick was a great guy, though. I'll commend Rick, though. He had great ideas. He was a great Grey Knight player. I'll commend him. He did really
Cool.
well.
Maybe I should reach out to him too, because it's definitely an unconventional list, and I'd love to talk to him about it. So
I I think his list was good. I think what lost him the game was his choices on secondaries.
I do that all the time. I pick bad secondaries. So just you were kind of blanking out a little bit though. So you were or were not playing with the new 2021 GT pack with the new secondaries in it?
No, not the new. We were not in the new pack. We're still in
Okay.
the old pack.
Yeah, when you mentioned Psychic Ritual, I know it's been renamed to Warp Ritual, and I think it'll be a lot better now than it was. So,
I agree.
yeah. All right. So, any other things you want to talk about for round 3 before we get into round 4? Then.
Yes, it wasn't Psychic Ritual. It was Pierce the Veil.
Ah, okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really take the warp ones, so I can't really remember. I know Psychic Ritual, you have to. It's a character. They have to be in the middle of the board, and they have to do it 3 times, or you get no points. They're gonna change that so you at least get scaling points, and any character can do it. So if you lose the character doing it, you can still get some points, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't remember what Pierce the Veil is. That one's done in your enemy's deployment zone, right?
Yeah, and if you do it 4 times, you get 15 points.
Okay. Is that one? But is that one where you? It's not 0 points or 15, right? It's like it goes up.
0-8. 0-8 if you do it twice. 15 if you do it 4.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Never taken that one personally, but
I wouldn't.
so I guess I kind of screwed the pooch there when we were talking about rounds 1, 2, and 3 here. What secondaries were you taking? I was gonna ask you at the end, just in general, but being they are kind of matchup specific, I know that you're huge on suffer not the alien against any kind of Xenos faction. So I assume you,
Oh, you betcha.
yeah, I assume you took that. And I know I know you love banners, and you probably took engage. So you probably took banners and engage for everything, right? And then you kind of swapped out your third one based on what you were playing against.
I definitely took engage, banners, suffer, Oath of the Moment, and the Mission. Those were the ones that I pretty much took.
All right, cool. So then round 4. Round 4 was against Eric Trock, and it looks like he was rocking Drukari again.
Yeah, nothing against Eric.
Wow.
We had a really tense game. He was a very meticulous player, though. He went through every single turn and used every single second. I got a little uppity about time, and he's like, "Well, you can put me on a clock," and so I did end up putting him on a clock. He used all but 58 seconds.
Whew.
I should have put him on a clock earlier because then he would have timed out. He did beat me. I think it was 83-74. But the big mistake in that game was I didn't know that there was a Warlord trait for Dark Eldar that turns off OBSEC.
Is that the Hatred Eternal one, or is that the... I've got his list up here.
It's some homunculus Warlord trait.
Yeah, because that's... yeah, I see. The Distillers of Fear.
Yeah, and that ability right there cost me 10 points by itself.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, so I see this is a list just made up of like all the stuff that's been fact. So, the Warlord trait for the Succubus with the like they can and the whip, so they can basically get like I think it's an average of like 35 or 40 attacks. And then all of those liquefier guns on the Dark Technomancers. Holy crap, that's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, man. How do you... So, I've only played against Drukari with the pre-fact Dark Technomancer liquefier guns once, and it was with my sister's army in a 1,000-point game, and I had no idea how to even deal with that. How do you deal with that as Deathwatch? I mean, I know it's not going to be a problem here very soon, but I'm curious, like...
What I would do is I would throw the Vanguard vets up to lure out the rack squad, hope that at least 3 survive. The average number-wise is right around 2 survive, but I can hope for 3.
Uh-huh.
And then I would come out with like the normal vets, put some firepower in there, and hopefully put them down. Because they're not really good at withstanding shooting.
Right. I mean, none of the Dark Eldar really is.
Yeah. So my intent was, I tried to lure him out. I did the best I could. I got 73 points out of it, but
yeah,
or 74. He ended up with 83. But like I said, I lost 10 points just from that Warlord trade.
Turning off OBSEC's pretty good. Anything else you want to talk about for this round 4?
If you ever play Eric, just be ready. He is about as an exact a player as I have ever met.
Okay.
He is dead on. He will make sure that you know every single thing that you can do and that he can do.
Huh. Well, I mean, that's good, right?
And it takes a lot of time, though.
Yeah. So then you fought Custodes on round 5.
Yeah, Custode, the score on that game is wrong, but it didn't matter anyway.
Okay.
So it was a good matchup. The guy was probably one of my more favorite opponents of the weekend. Rick was my personal favorite. This guy was the second favorite. It was a super fun match. We were just shooting the crap back and forth. I goofed up. I took Long Vigil, which I shouldn't have. I also took Engage, which the reason why I took both was because I had been drinking too much.
Oh.
And
okay. Well, there you go.
He didn't notice. I didn't notice. He then deep struck a unit of Custode Terminators in my deployment zone, so I scored 0 points on Vigil anyway, so it didn't matter. But at the end of the game, we were just having a great time. I think we had way too many beers during that game. Um, After the game, he comes up to me and goes, you know, I know you beat me like 80-79, but I just want to tell you something. That mission was a hold 2. So that means the 2 turns where I held 1 and the rest of the game where I held 2, I didn't score as many points as I did.
Oh, so the score is wrong, but it's not in your
It's
favor.
the same. Yeah, it's the same result. I won. He would have scored like 40 points less.
Oh, less. Oh, wow. Okay, I got you now. Woo.
Yeah, so the fact it's like 80-79, it should have been like 80-49.
Oh, looks like it's like Sagittarium custodians, not just custodian guards. Pretty
Oh yeah,
interesting.
he had a really neat list. It was really good.
Aren't those the ones with like they have like effectively a las gun, a little las gun underneath? It's like a combi bolter, but isn't that the
Some
Sagittarium?
It's some weird pistol, and you can shoot it twice with a strat.
Oh, okay. I must be thinking of a different. I don't know custodes very well, so.
Or maybe that's the heavy bolter ones. I don't know. I also do not know custodes really well.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's had some Praetors, some Venatari running around. That probably stopped you right there from any long vigil points right out the gate. Those are fast, hard to kill.
Yeah.
I know you don't agree with me. I don't think long vigil is very good just because of that added, like, they can't be within 6 inches of the deployment zone. Like, if it was the deployment zone, I think they would be a lot more manageable, but it's like they can't even be within 6 inches. And then there's some missions like retrieval mission where your deployment zone is 18 inches wide, so it's 24 inches. You have to keep them off of half of the board to score that.
Yeah,
right?
I guess it just depends. I've had luck with it against certain armies. It's a really situational pick. Like I said, I'm positive that I had too much to drink before that round, so because I lost the round previous and decided, well, I'm not going to make it. So.
Oh, I see.
So when I got to the table, both of us were in the same mood. We, and like I said, I'm like, well, screw it. Let's try a long vigil because I forgot that he was deep striking a unit in between the time we were picking secondaries and he declared his deep strike. But like I said, I couldn't have picked it anyway, and I should have picked banners. So I should have had 95 points, and he would have had like 49 points. But all we cared about is we had a great time pushing our man Barbies around.
Hell yeah, man. And then this is one we haven't talked about at all. So for our viewers out there, or our listeners, whichever, I've been pinging Jason back and forth for the last few days about how he's doing with everything. But this round we haven't talked about at all. I didn't even know until right now that you got to actually play against Tal.
I did. Round 6, and it's basically Richard Seegor's list, just different pilot.
Okay. Stealth Thrones, Devilfishes, Stingwings.
Breachers.
Wow, Stingwings.
Yeah.
Yeah, Breachers. Looks like only some Breachers. Huh. I've only fought Tal once, ever, so I don't really know them very well either. I love their models though. They're so cool to me. But so how did this one go?
This one started out really bad actually. He pushed up, took out some of my my forward deploying units. I took the mission on this one, which was this is the Hammer and Anvil with 4 objectives. The mission is each middle you hold is worth 2, and your opponent's deployment zone is worth 3.
Mm-hmm.
So this one started out really bad. My incursors got blown off the table right away. Everything I pushed forward to try to hold those middle objectives got either taken out or ransacked in some way. My new Stalker Bolter unit in the back was basically the key to holding my 5 points every turn. what happened mostly was I was able to push him off the middle objective, so he never scored. He never scored more than 10. I never scored more than 10, like the whole till the end of the game. But when he brought that Death Star, he brought the new Death Star, which is where you have the 9-man crisis veteran bodyguard unit.
Ah, yeah.
With the one guy that ignores AP -1 and -2, and like a 10-man unit of drones. So on like turn 2 or turn 3, I assaulted him with my dreadnought. My dreadnought gets in with like 2 wounds remaining after Overwatch.
Woo.
And then I was able to assault with 2 Vanguard vet squads, and the bodyguard went away. That was also the same turn that I deep struck in the Eradicators and dropped the Riptide. So I dropped the 2 main focal power points of his army, and all he had left was like Breachers and Devilfish at that point. And at that point, I was able to push forward. I was able to claim the objectives in the middle. There was one turn where I even threatened to claim his home objective, which would have been 7 points for that mission. I also zeroed him on primary that turn, but he did kick me off of it, so I only got 4 that turn.
Yeah.
But you know, it swung hard after I took those 2 out, and I 15'd, I think, 2 turns in a row after that.
Nice. So what was the final score on that one?
I want to say I was right around 90, maybe.
Yeah, I see you were 87, but I don't see what their score was. That's why I'm asking.
It was not good. I want to say like 60.
Okay. So
Let me.
looks like you came back. I mean, came back. You had some fun. You at a 300-person tournament, you scored in the top 10%, my man. Like, and there are some big names here.
Yeah, it was overall it was a good event. I had a lot of fun. Got to hang out with a lot of people I don't usually get to see that often, you know, except for when we go to events. I got yelled at a lot because apparently I snore, and Brad doesn't like it that I snore.
Yeah, speaking of Brad, like that's a great segue. I was gonna actually mention here, like Brad's holding strong, #1. He hasn't had a game under scoring 90 points. He's won every single game according to Best Coast pairings, at least so far. I know they're still playing.
They are not.
Oh, they're not.
They got final round.
Okay.
Well, final round. He just won round 8, 169. So he is. It's him and Nanavanti, round 9.
Oh wow, another. I thought they already met once, and they're playing again.
No, that was his round 8. Oh, actually, he did. He played Nanavanti earlier in the thing too.
Yeah. So best.
He beat Nanavanti earlier.
Yeah, Best Coast only had. Oh, here it goes. It's finally updated here. So, hold on. Let me refresh again. I think it just came through. Nope, it's only showing 6 on the main page. But if I open Brad's sheet here, it looks like I see all 9 rounds. Yeah, so he played Nanavati. How did that go? The last. Man, Best Coast is a little. Oh, so he actually he like aced everybody then, huh? Wow.
Yeah, he's undefeated.
It's amazing. How do you feel about seeing Black Templars #2 at the moment? At least again on Best Coast pairings at the moment, which might be updating here shortly. That's a pretty interesting change.
Well, you gotta always remember in these big events, there's always that chance that you may be the guy that gets the absolute perfect matchups, and you sneak into the top 8. You know, it's just like with Siegler. Siegler hit 4 Dark Eldar out of 6 games.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Well, so how were the after parties? Pretty decent.
Our one,
How were the after parties, huh? Uh, Pretty decent.
I I have no clue what you said. The audio
Oh,
cut out
oh,
every time
the
you said it.
I
How,
see.
how
I
are the?
Yeah, I was playing with my dog, so I think I moved away from my mic. How were the after parties? Like, I mean, I don't assume there's like a clubbing style after party, but I do assume you guys all get together with whomever you want and throw back a few pictures, right?
Oh yeah, every night. So to change the tone of everything, we went from like a very competitive event, everything like that. Night one, the Art of War guys plus us plus a couple other guys, we all went to Chef Bellows, tossing back. It was great. Night two, we ended up at Chef Gordon Ramsay's Steakhouse. Again, amazing. Night three, it was Battle Brothers and us, and we were at AC Burger House. So, I mean, every night was the same thing. It was. I'm not sure if my liver can handle more events like this.
That's rad. I guess I'm gonna have to start looking into actually going to one of these tournaments one of these days, because that it sounds like a hell of a good time, if you ask me.
Oh, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. The Chef Velos is a five-star restaurant. It's in an old speakeasy from back in the 1920s.
Yep. It's,
Five-star restaurant, absolutely amazing. It was very good. Um, Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse also was amazing. If you are friends with me on Facebook, you can see the picture of the meal I got. It
ooh,
was an 8-ounce steak. It was an 8-ounce steak, and the two shrimp that were near the steak, which are bigger than the steak, absolutely amazing. It was so good.
I'm trying to find it now, but I'll throw it up on in post so folks can see it. But I don't see it just yet. Oh, there it is. Gordon
Should be,
Ramsay steak. Oh, I think you just checked in, but oh, there it is. There's the photo. Haha.
yeah, that's an 8-ounce. That's an 8-ounce steak.
Yeah, with a with an 8 ounce shrimp on top, and then a 4 ounce shrimp next to it.
Yes,
So yeah, man,
yes.
I love food. This is a total aside, but like I cook a lot, and I smoke my own meats, and I make my own beer and all that jazz, and I've been thinking about like trying to do like a Warhammer inspired cooking show as a joke, but I don't know how you'd really make that work considering everybody seems to eat like nutrient paste in that in the lore. But,
Well, my wife's been trying to get a Warhammer show up and running,
oh yeah,
but she can't find people who want to commit to doing it with her. She
for
wants to do
cooking,
a show for what?
for cooking, or
No, for Warhammer, for
yeah.
like actual Warhammer. She wants to call it Warhammer Widows, and it just be wives of Warhammer players
Oh,
and
I see.
trying to explain what actually happened at 40K events, even though they don't play.
That's yeah. That's pretty. It's Have you ever watched the Midwinter Minis YouTube channel? They've got uh this guy's wife. They do a little segment where she tries to describe what the model looks like, and he tries to guess what it is, and she doesn't know the game anywhere near as well as he does, and it's pretty funny. It's just, sometimes how she like describes these models. Well, hell, man, when's your next one?
End of July, it looks like. They're
Ooh,
having the Death or Glory guys. They're running the Frogtown Open.
Frogtown Open. All right. Oh yeah, the Death and Glory guys or Death or Glory guys are pretty close to you, right?
Yeah, they're pretty much. I mean, they are a local group. They are
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much the only local group that exists.
Nice.
I mean, like Gentleman Gaming is what I belong to, but Gentleman Gaming is across the nation, and
Right.
Team Battle Brothers also. They're across the nation. Art of War, same thing. Death or Glory is pretty much just Midwest.
Yeah.
So I guess if I had to say a local gaming group, it's them.
Gotcha. Well, shit. All right. Would you change up this list anymore?
I don't know. I think it's about as tight as I can get it. I
Mm,
do want to try the shotguns.
yeah, I saw that.
Uh, Shout
Mr.
out to Jack.
Harpster. I keep saying Harper, but Harpster is actually running those shotguns. So
Yeah, shout out to Jack. It's a neat idea. He basically took my list and Lennon's list and made a new Deathwatch list.
yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna throw that up on the board here so folks can take a look. Well, we can actually talk about it if you want.
it's like I said, it's basically my list and John Lennon's list. It's just combined, and the
Yeah,
only thing different is the shotguns, really. And I really want to look into that. I'm not sure. He said that they were winning him games, and I'm like, I need to check into that then.
yeah. So, for those of you who aren't watching as closely as I am, what Jason means about Lennon's list and Jason's list, I've got Jack Harpster's list up here right now. He's got a lieutenant in Reaver armor with the Auspicitor, so +1 to hit for flying units. He's got a captain with the Dominus Agents and then the Dominus Aegis and the Nowhere to Hide aura. And then he's also got a Tech Marine with the Tome of Ectoclades and the Brilliant Strategist paragon of their chapter, which lets him change a unit's um, tactical doctrine to the one previous. So if you're in tactical, you can set one unit back to Devastator, which is important because a big crux of his army is 5 dreadnoughts. He has 3 Redemptors and 2 Relic Temptors with the Twin Volkites. He runs Macro Plasma on the dreadnoughts, and then he has some in cursors as well, and then he runs a lot of Vanguard bikers with 1 Vanguard vet in each Proteus kill team to give them the infantry keyword so that they can go through buildings. And then it also allows them to, I guess, do infantry only actions if they need to. And then, but he mainly rocks lots and lots of shotguns, which I've never played with. They've got 3 profiles. One's a flamer, one's an 18-inch strength 5, 1 damage shot, and then one is like a scatter shot, more like it's a really short range but high damage blast. So, well, not blast. I meant blast like a shotgun blast, but yeah, the shotguns look interesting. I'm curious about it because I already feel like 24 inches is pretty short. And then the
Yeah,
longest range profile the shotguns have is 18 inches, and they can't use special issue ammunition, so you can't increase that. Um, but then again, I am definitely not of Mr. Harpster's caliber of player, so very curious. What do you think the best part of the shotguns really are?
I'm not sure. I kind of overlooked them. I did not think they were that good. Obviously, he had some success with them, so I do need to kind of check that out.
Yeah.
Um, well, oh no. Maybe he was saying something about damage too.
Yeah,
Maybe that's it.
that's the really short range shotgun, if I remember right. I'm trying to pull it up right now. How many multi plasma?
But yeah, I'm 100%. I'm not sold on them.
There they are. Yeah, so there's it's all assault, which is great. So you can move them real fast and only take -1 to hit, unless you I guess you go white scars them to not take that, but what would be the point for Brotherhood of Veterans? Anyway, so it's the first one is an 18-inch assault 2, strength 5, no AP, 1 damage. Then there's the flamer style, which is assault D6, 8 inches, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage. But it's a so if you get charged within 8 inches, that's a pretty decent Overwatch. And then there's the 12-inch assault 2, strength 4, -1 AP, 2 damage shot, and that's probably the one that he has the most success with, because in tactical doctrine you're going to be at -2 damage. Not bad, not bad at all.
Not bad.
It's I think it's interesting just because, like, we talked about in our last interview, right? Just Deathwatch they're so flexible, and the shotguns with those 3 profiles, even though you lose special issue ammunition, like, that's still pretty flexible. So,
Well, I find it interesting that obviously I know that Brad talked with the Art of War guys and talked my list with them because he presented it as something that they were not, looking at, because nobody was really looking at Deathwatch. So obviously that's what they came up with. I came up with, and we both ended up with adding a strength 4 -2 damage option. Mine just has heavy and special issue ammo. His was assault and no special issue. So
yeah, that's a
obviously
good
there's
a need for
there's
that.
a key there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool, man. Like, I'm just having problem finding biker models. Otherwise, I might try Harpster's list, or at least a Proteus kill team or two, very much like that. That's very cool. I'm so stoked to, like, see Deathwatch doing much better than they have been before. You, Lou, and Jack here have been doing some really cool stuff at tournaments all over the place. So
Yeah.
and also, personally, I just love dreadnoughts, and he's got 5 dreadnoughts. Like, that's super cool.
Yep.
Well, cool, man. Any other things you wanna bring up? You wanna talk about?
No, I'm good. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Actually, I just thought about something. Is there anything in the new GT mission pack with these secondaries that you think you're really hot to trot on? Or I know Engage didn't change, banners didn't change, and those seem to be, like, pretty much your go-to for most situations.
In their ranks.
In their
I'm
ranks.
super excited. Yeah.
Did that one change too?
It did.
Oh, it's per. That's right. It's per wound now, not per model.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's actually scoreable on things that aren't just orcs or nids or guard,
Correct.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. A lot of people running assault bikes or attack bikes. I mean, those are 4 each. Depending on how they have their army tooled out, you could get, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, especially with Marines now.
Yeah. I wish we could bring attack bikes. Oh well. I've got some suppressors too, and I just love that model. I thought it might be fun if they rocked him in or they allowed us to rock him in a Fortis kill team, but you can't. Oh well. Oh hey, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like.
Oh.
Go ahead.
No, go. I was gonna change the topic, so let's stay on my last topic.
Well, like my list went from for thin their ranks. It went from like a 5 to, I think, like a 13 for
Oh, I
points.
see. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I wonder what the Deathwatch, like Jack Harpster's list with the 5 dreads, like that's a lot of wounds. So at least in the
Yeah, but it only counts for
Redemptors.
infantry though,
Oh, that's right. You're right. Okay, never mind.
because bringing it down is for the vehicles.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah. So he would even give up fewer, I think. Very cool. So, my other topic was actually about I've been having some success lately running Fortis kill teams with the Assault Hellblasters. Um, what do you think about that, especially with like, T5 boys coming out and 3 shots per dude, that's 15 shots in a 5-man and a Fortis kill team, and then you also give the the 15 shots from the bolters from the intercessors in the same kill team. Um, strength 6, strength 7, 2 damage if you overcharge. I don't know. Seems it's been doing some work for me anyway.
The secret sauce of Deathwatch, 100%, is the fact you have an army-wide lieutenant ability
Yeah,
and kill teams. Those are your two. That's why the army works so well.
yeah. I've kind of done kind of taken your list and I've added Fortis kill teams. I've dropped my in Dominator 1 as well. So seems
The
to be doing
Indominator
all
and
right.
the points are too intensive.
Yeah, and that, like, especially after I loved running plasma in scepters, and after this fact, they're even more expensive now. Um,
Yep.
well, eliminators went down, and we're the only army that can take 5 of them in a kill team. I thought that was pretty interesting. I should hit up Lou and see what he thinks, because last time I talked to him, he was running eliminators and a Vindicare and just popping HQs like every round, pretty much every round, or making them hide, one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's definitely worth looking at. I mean, anytime you have a fact that changes things, the entire meta shakes up.
yeah,
More than that, though, whenever you have a large event, the meta shakes up. So this is really kind of the first really large event. So we'll see what happens after it.
yeah. Well, yeah, then obviously more codexes coming out. Like none of the I didn't even see sisters in the top 10 for once. I realize there's a lot of Drukhari, obviously, but like no sisters. But they've got their new codex now. Admech Orcs this month supposedly. Maybe 1,000 Suns and Grey Knights the month after that. I mean, every time those codexes hit, they're gonna shake up the meta too.
Yep. Especially if they're big ones like Admech and Sisters and Orcs. All three of those are going to change the meta wildly.
Yeah. What do you think about these new codexes and how they seem to be adding like a lot to the command phase, a whole bunch of stuff to like really watch out for, right? Like I was watching a game, Siegler versus actually Jack Harpster, from last week, but before the tournament, and like, Siegler was running Admech. Jack was running the list he brought to Atlantic City, but man, Richard could just like make one blob of 20 Scutari like unkillable. Transhuman +1 to their armor save for any like one damage shooting. I think they always had cover. I mean, it was just like nuts. They were stronger than as a brick than like Dark Angel's Terminators.
Yeah, but you got to remember the Admech fact hasn't dropped yet.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So
true, right?
whatever anyone's saying out there, cool.
No,
It's just not going to be that way. You know,
yeah,
GW has always listened. Like they're behind the scenes, but they've always listened to the communities And when stuff was truly not the way it's supposed to be, they usually fix it.
Yeah, I guess I went off on a little tangent there. My point wasn't that, oh my god, AdMech is OP. It was more like, what do you think about the design changes that are going on where like ninth edition is starting to become just a whole bunch of like little buffs? Your like command phase is starting to take a long time, right? What do you think about the like increase, the seemingly what seems to me to be an increase in complexity?
It's actually, in my mind, it's an increase in organization. These things have to happen in this space. Things
Mm-hmm.
have to happen in this space. I think it's more fair. I think all buffs allocated during a phase. Like, these guys are going to get +1 the captain. These guys are going to get reroll 1. These guys are going to get reroll everything.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it should all be done in the command phase.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, like as Grey
That way,
Knights. Oh, go ahead.
that way you could like token it out so you know where everything is. You know, be like,
Yeah,
you know,
as a Grey Knight player, I do so much buffing in the psychic phase, and I actually 3D printed my own like reminder tokens so that I remember who has what buffs. Um, so I feel you there. And then
yep.
so yeah, like playing Grey Knights now, 8th edition Codex. My command phase is basically get a CP, score your primary. If you have a chaplain, you do his litany, and then that's it. That's my whole command phase. But like Deathwatch, you do all that, but then you have to like target your captain buffs and your chapter master slash watchmaster buffs, and then you have like even more now coming out with these new codexes. I'm very curious to see how orcs are gonna play. And I know my buddy Zach, who just started playing and is playing orcs, is also very stoked to see how the orc codex
Well, I am
is gonna
too.
come.
I think orcs are going to upset the meta greatly. A lot of things won't work the same with orcs. I think you'll see a lot of changes once orcs hit.
Yeah, pretty curious to see how that's gonna go down for sure. Super stoked though. All right, man. Well, I think I'll let you go. It's been about an hour and a half, so decent interview. Great content. Awesome talking to you. Thanks for taking the call in your car on the way back from the event. Even that's super cool.
No worries. I wish that there were better internet spots in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's
do
all
what you
good.
got to do.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna try to actually have this up today so that it's fresh off the presses. So thanks again for taking the time. Oh, are you gonna come out for LVO? Did you get your?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I know they're already sold
I'm
out,
not.
but
I have not gotten a ticket. I
mm,
do know people that bought tickets specifically just to say they have it in case they decide to go.
right.
So if they don't decide to go, I have access through numerous sources if I do decide to go.
Gotcha.
But I am closing on a new house this month, so
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
I may not be able to go.
Yeah, I feel you. It's just that Las Vegas is like an hour and a half flight for me from Portland, and I have family down there anyway, so not
It is definitely a possibility, though. It's on my bucket list of 40K tournaments, though.
very cool. Oh, have you never gone?
I've never been to LVO, BAO, or the London GT. Those are the 3 that are left.
Ooh. So you have gone to Adepticon then?
Yeah, numerous times.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I will actually let you go now. Thank you again, and you're almost home, yeah?
Oh no,
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well,
no, I still got about 2 hours of driving left.
No. Well, I hope that this hour and a half at least woke you back up, because I know I get pretty sleepy
Yeah, it
on
was
long drives. So
yeah, it was nice. It was a good break from staring out the window at nothing.
yeah, awesome, man. Well, I'll talk to you later, and hit me up anytime.
Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, man.
Have a good one.
You too.